What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here, and welcome to my build guide for strength, dex, and quality builds in Demon Souls. Now, while all three of these builds have different primary stats and different weapons that they're going to be using, all three are very similar with a number of key items that are shared between them, and as such, I figured it made more sense to just do one video looking at all three of the main melee archetype builds, as opposed to three separate videos that are going to have a lot of similarities. So, jumping on in first, I want to talk about the things that will be identical across all three of these builds. We're going to have Second Chance on all three. This is a spell that will allow us to resurrect instantly with 50% of our health should we take a fatal blow. This is useful in both PvE and PvP, of course, and it's kind of a mainstay in pretty much any build. We're going to have Curse Weapon. Curse Weapon will increase the damage output of our weapon's physical damage by 50%. So with something like this, where I have 529 attack power, that's going to go up to over 750 attack power. It is a very, very strong buff for melee-oriented weapons. To cast that, we're going to be using the Talisman of Beasts, and you'll notice that we don't meet the stat requirements in either Magic or Faith. This is what's known as a cracked Talisman of Beasts, and what's unique about this is typically this spell that we're using, Curse Weapon, it would drain 1% of our health per second, so after roughly a minute and a half, you're basically dead. By using it with a cracked talisman, it instead only drains 1 health per second, which we can easily mitigate out with any number of forms of regeneration, such as a Regenerator's Ring or Adjudicator's Shield. So that one item, those two spells, and to make sure we can use those spells, each build is going to have 16 Faith and 18 Intelligence. Those things are going to be identical across all three of those builds. Next, I want to talk about the typical level for these builds and the meta for Demon Souls. Now, if you've never heard of the meta before, the meta is essentially a level that's agreed upon by the community that everyone should try to stay around so that we can promote connectivity with one another and so that builds can have diversity. So to clarify on those 2 points, when it comes to connecting with other players, there is a level difference that does matter. For example, a level 120 player can't connect to a player that's level 70, and a level 200 player can't connect to a player that's either 70 or 120. So if everybody stays right around 120, whether you're 110 or 115 or 120 or even up to 130, it promotes connectivity within the community, and that way you'll find more people that you can both co-op with and you can PvP with. Now, if you're using the password feature, this doesn't matter at all. If you're playing with a friend and you want to level up to level 500 and you want to help out your friend who's only level 20, with a password you can do that. But in terms of just finding other people online to either PvP with or to do co-op with, that is why the meta level exists. Now, the reason the meta level is roughly around 120 is for build diversity. If we look at a build like this, I've already met the soft caps on Vitality and Endurance, and then I have a couple filler stats just high enough for spells like my 16 Faith and my 18 Intelligence, and then I have enough points to dump Strength up to a little bit past the soft cap for it, very much solidifying this as a strength build. And ultimately, that is what makes the meta so beautiful. If the meta was level 200, I could have my strength up to 60 and my dex up to 60, and I could have my magic and my faith even higher. And at that point, I'm not really a strength build anymore. I'm more of an everyman build. So no one is saying you have to stay at the meta. But if you want to play with other players and if you want to do PvP, it is recommended that you stay at the meta. Otherwise, you'll level up high enough and then you just won't find anybody to play with. So that's something I want you all to keep in mind as we continue on with this build video. But to talk about the specifics of the strength build, first up we have our stats. So our vitality and endurance are both soft caps of 50 and 40. You can go beyond this, but you're going to see minimal returns on those stats. Our dexterity is only at 16 because we wanted to use the lava bow in the walkthrough, but with a more focused strength build, I would in fact leave that actually lower. We don't need that up at 16. Our strength is up at 42, which is more than enough for this build to be beefy, but if you wanted to go higher, I would not recommend going any higher than 66. There's a 1.5 modifier when it comes to two-handing a weapon with strength, so if you are two-handing the Dragon Bone Smasher at 66 strength, it's the equivalent of having it at 99 strength. You're probably not going to be able to hit 66 strength while maintaining the meta level, but if you wanted to pull points out of vitality, for example, you leave your vitality down to 30, maybe take a little bit out of endurance, and the points that I didn't need in dexterity, you could hit that 66 strength breakpoint and be extra smashy, extra unga boonga with this build. So to talk about our weapons, Dragon Bone Smasher and a Crushing Night Sword. The Dragon Bone Smasher, very much an iconic strength weapon. Those of you that came into Demon Souls a little bit later, you'll recognize this as a variety of things. Fum Ultra Greatsword, for example, very much a similar design. And while it only has a B scaling in strength, it has a ton of base damage at 280. And this thing is very much the master of bonks. It's just a weapon I'm very fond of. This thing destroys. So to talk about a couple of key moves here, our two-handed running R1 attack. This will absolutely donk anything we're going to be fighting. Your running R1 is also identical to your back hop, so just hitting circle and then hitting R1. You have that same spin, and this move will yeet people off cliffs. You just run up and you're just like, boom, and someone is going to fly off a ledge, making it a really fun weapon to fight with anytime you have kind of a potential for a gravity kill nearby. Beyond that, I would not suggest ever doing 2 R1s in a row. You have a very slow follow-up attack, but instead you can go for a R1, R2. This tends to catch a lot of people because they roll for the first and they don't expect the second. You can also redirect that attack. So if we're doing the R1, then we come in with the R2, able to flip and have a hit behind us with that. Very nice attack that a lot of people don't really expect. If we're one-handing the weapon, our running and our back hop attack are a straight swing down. This can be parried. Your rolling attack, though, gets that nice one-handed sweep that catches a lot of people. So before we continue, I want to talk a little bit about dead angling. Now, dead angling is important to any build, but it's especially important to a strength build because we want to get the majority of our damage out. Now, when block damage is calculated, it's based on the relative position of 2 characters. So fighting Calm here, if he's blocking straight on, as you can see, I'm not going to get damage. But if I were to unlock against him and attack from like an angle, I can get some damage in. Like that. And the basic gist here is when I attacked and I turned, the game calculated me as attacking in this direction while he was still straight, and hence the attack went through. So you're not going to be able to do this if you're locked on. If you're locked on, even if I kind of run off to the side, it's not going to work. But if I am running at somebody and I attack and turn at the last second, I can potentially dead angle if I do it just right. Like that, for example. So obviously just look up Dark Souls dead angling, spend a little bit of time practicing it, and you should get a better idea at it. But the basic gist here is we want to attack from an angle that is not in line with our target to get damage. Think of it almost like swinging your sword and hitting behind them. Now, the main reason we have a Crushing Knight sword as our offhand is this ability just has really good rushdown. The running and the back hop attack is a nice lunge that we're able to chase people down with. So the idea is we do most of their health in one big attack with the Dragon Bone, then we can chase them down with that. Showing the range here right, see where we're at here right on the lip. And the back hop, you can see just how far we got. That's a very, very nice ability to chase people down. The R2 attack is also great for roll catch. So 2 attacks and then that. Unless someone rolls back twice, you'll end up poking them after they try to roll away, making it a great, great weapon choice to kind of finish the fight, if you will. As for our armor and rings, we went with the Dark Silver and 3-piece Burrower. I just really like this look. It kind of has like a, almost like a Silent Hill pyramid head type thing going on, which I think looks pretty badass. As for our rings, Ring of Great Strength, obviously. And if we are invading, we want to go for Foe's Ring. Otherwise, if we are the host, I would suggest the Eternal Warriors or Regenerator's Ring. Oh, no we don't. Is he trying to cast a firestorm? No? The fuck? That ain't happening. Oh shit, am I in range? That was a little close. All we gotta do is kill the host! Bitch, get docked! Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, bitch. It looks like you're going down now. Where's the host at? Uh-oh! Uh-oh! Maybe you shouldn't gank like a bitch! Maybe you shouldn't gank like a bitch! Get the fuck down. Ooh, boy. What do y'all think? Glitched? I don't know if it's glitched or not. I don't trust Bluepoint swords right now when I see them. Big donks. Got the rolling time. Whoo, got you. Woo. Oh shit. Somebody just got big donked. Oh no, you do not stop that shit. I can heal too, buddy. We got him. Did pretty good for an S-stock guy. Now, while the strength build is all about big donks, the dex build is very much the epitome of speed kills. This build is meant to rush down enemies with a flurry of attacks that they won't be able to survive. Very, very potent in PvP, able to do a ton of damage very fast. And we also have this like kind of sick Ghost of Tsushima assassin type look going on right now, which I really like. So to jump into the specifics of the dex build, you'll notice first off that our endurance is at 43. Now that is so we can rock double katana along with the armor loadout. We're running 3-piece gloom and assassin mask mainly because of that disgustingly good fashion. But to run that armor and double katana, we're going to need to have endurance up to 43, which while we're going past the soft cap isn't really the end of the world or anything. In our offhand, we have a blind. Blind is a unique weapon that can completely go through shields. So if you have somebody that's just turtling up behind a great shield, blind is a great choice just to absolutely shred it. They'll just keep blocking and losing their health and they'll not be sure why. And it weighs almost nothing. Look at that. It weighs 0.1. So you're really not sacrificing anything by having this in your build. Of course, Talisman of Beast along with our 2 spells similar to before. And then as for ring loadouts, Eternal Warrior's Ring is going to be a standard with this. We don't need the equipment load. We're at 49.4 already. And then Foe's Ring while we're invading, or otherwise go for the Regenerator's Ring, or you could run something like Thief or Grey Robbers if you want to be kind of a sneaky ninja, you know. Go for whatever you enjoy. Now, for PvE, we're actually not going to be using the katanas at all. The katanas don't have a lot of durability. For PvE, I would suggest either a sharp Kalij or a sharp War Scythe. Both of these weapons are very, very powerful in PvE. The Kalij in particular, this thing will just shred through bosses. It's a very spammy weapon. You're able to get a lot of damage in with it. And this is just a really good choice to kind of, you know, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can roll out. So you can get 4 big attacks with this thing and then still get out. The damage isn't too shabby. As you can see, we're just below 300 and it's attacking very, very fast. So keep in mind that when we were two-handing our Dragon Bone Smasher, that was 500. And the 2 attacks from this are easily as fast as 1 attack from Dragon Bone Smasher. So very powerful to shred bosses as you progress through the game. Now, you can certainly use this in PvP, but personally, I don't find the curved swords to be that useful in PvP. I think because of how spammy they are kind of susceptible to parries. So instead, I prefer the katanas for PvP. Now, with the dual katana loadout in particular, one of the main reasons for this, well, there's 2 really. We can do a knockback lock, and we can do just a faster follow-up attack. So if we just do our R1s here, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see they're not that fast, but if we have a katana in our offhand, we can work in that. Now doing the same attack sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see it speeds it up just a little bit, and that little bit of variation in timing will actually throw people off a lot. You know, you could go for a 1, 2, throw out that 1 and another 1, so it just allows us to mix up our timing, and especially in ganks, because we're covering enemies coming from the right and enemies coming from the left. It gives us a little bit more coverage in terms of where we're going to hit our enemies from. Now, as for the knockback thing, this is kind of cheeky and more of an advanced technique. What you can do is forward an R1 to do the push, and then follow up quickly with an L1. And once you get really good at it, you can basically do this. Oh, hang on. I messed it up. I'm still not that good at this. Push, attack, push, attack, push, attack, push. Oh, I missed my push. But basically the idea is to push an L1 over and over, and you can effectively stun lock players doing this. So, very cheeky, even if you just get in one, even if it's just a push, attack, attack, attack. By that point, somebody's dead. So anyway, the double dex, or the double katanas with dex, is a very fun play style. And while we don't have true dual wielding in the sense of like power stancing like Dark Souls 2, it's still fun to see dual wielding. Very much a PvP thing, though. I would not recommend this in PvE. Now, as for why we're using Hiltless in the offhand, Hiltless will lose health anytime we attack the target with it. Our health basically drains from using this sword. So because of that, we want to put it in our offhand, since the majority of attacks are going to be our uchi instead. That way we're not constantly going to be draining health. Some other key things with the katana, your backstep as well as your running attack. That is a really, really nice chase down. Just a running thrust is a great way to catch people trying to run away. The rolling attack, very, very fast at catching people. And if you are in close corridors, like say 3-1 for example, going for two-handing the katana is going to be much beneficial. As you can see, we kind of go for a vertical moveset instead of the wide horizontal sweeps. We still have that nice thrust attack. The only thing to be aware of is your R2 is very slow, so I wouldn't really recommend that in PvP. But the katana can be great in close corridors or in open battles. In open battles, I tend to go for the double. In close corridors, I'll swap to the two-hand. Now, if we are going to be two-handing it, and or let's say you don't want to use double katanas, you could go for Blessed Iron Knuckles in your offhand. This will give you a weapon that gives you regen, as well as being able to parry with it, so this will obviously offset the health loss from Cursed Weapon. Alternatively, while the katana is in the offhand, we can actually use it to parry. It's a pretty fast parry too, as you can see. So, all in all, Dex is a really fun playstyle. I mean, having the double katanas is pretty entertaining, and then being able to get a quick parry out with one. I would say that between the 3 builds that I'm showcasing in this video, this one is probably the one I enjoy doing PvP with the most. It's just, I think it's the Ghost of Tsushima aesthetic that I have going on here. It's very, very ninja, armored ninja-like. Just a lot of fun to play with, and can do a lot of damage. Oh no, fighting under the rocks, Drake? That's, oh damn, never mind. Speak for myself. Yes, the double katana. It's trying to get me with banish. That shit ain't gonna work, bro. Oh, got his ass! Not today. Yes. Ooh. 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 Oh, God, no. Trying to oh fuck, I'm backstabbed. Oh, now I got the roll. Trying to fight an S-stock in a hallway. Not gonna work. Oh. Got his ass. Oh, damn. No! 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 Shit, 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 shit! Oh, look! Oh, boy. Oh, that's one! That's one! That's two! Let's go! That's what I'm talking about! That's what I'm talking about! And the final build in this showcase is the quality build, which you could almost say is a cosplay build because we're using the pre-order knight armor. Or excuse me, deluxe edition knight armor. Now, if you don't have this, you could just use the blue knight armor. This is just something I think looks kind of badass. Fun build to evade with, especially in 1.3, because I look just like the knights there. But the beautiful thing about a quality build is you can really use almost any weapon with it. So to talk about the stats, vitality isn't going to be as high here. Our vitality is only at 40. Our endurance, 35, felt like a nice stopping point. And then we went to level up both strength and dex. So dex went up to 38, strength up to 34. The main reason I went a little bit lower in strength is because I get that bonus while two-handing, and most of the time I'm going to be two-handing, so I can afford to have strength a little bit lower than dex here. But the idea behind a quality build is you want a weapon to have almost equal scaling in strength and dex, and even non-quality weapons you can still get away with using. So if you wanted to use a katana, if you wanted to use the Dragon Bone Smasher, you could do all that with a quality build, which is the beauty of it. These builds are meant to be diverse. You're supposed to be able to pull out any weapon you want and roll with it. And because 30 is pretty much the soft cap for strength and dex, once you hit 30-30 in those two stats, you're pretty much good to go from there. So our main choice when it comes to our quality weapon is the quality claymore. This thing just has an amazing moveset. It has a great reach. It's really, really easy if you're you know, kind of dancing around with somebody and trying to trade. That's going to outrange a lot of attacks. You can go for an R1 into an R2 for a quick overhead. Your running attack is going to be this quick come down, great for catching people. Same with the backstep. Even one-handing it, the moveset's pretty good still. And it's a solid weapon all around. Like, honestly, you really can't go wrong with the claymore. Once again, we have that knight sword, which is also kind of sticking with the overall knight aesthetic of my character, both the knight sword and the claymore. And then if we want to go for something a little bit beefier, we swap to the meat cleaver, which has an S scaling in both strength and dexterity, kind of making it a peak big boy quality weapon. So to talk about the meat cleaver a little bit, because this is slower, our rolling attack, so you can see that little cloud it makes on the ground, that's actually a very large AoE. So get a little bit closer to this guy. If I hit just outside of him, as you can see, ended up bonking him there even though I wasn't right on top of him. So very, oh, we actually aggroed him. That's okay. So we'll kill this guy real fast just to show. So your backstep, that one's pretty good. Your rolling attack can be pretty good. And probably one of the more beautiful things with this is the 3-hit combo. A lot of people don't expect this. So going all the way through the combo chain, the third attack is going to do a lot of damage, and if somebody gets hit by it, it'll typically just yeet them away. So do the 1, do the 2, boom! And you can see how he just flies there. That third attack, because a lot of people don't expect 3 attacks to come out in PvP. A running attack is a little bit slower with it, so you don't really want to count too much on that. But rushing in with that is really nice. And then, you know, like I said, that 1, 2, 3, very powerful, especially the third attack, just because you can kind of delay the timing in these a little bit. You can see how that was a little bit slower than normal. And if I do all 3 of them instead here, if I do them fast, 1, 2, 3. Just a little bit quicker. Not by much, but the point is you can vary the timing of that attack to kind of mix up when your opponent thinks it's going to come out. So your rolling attack with this, really good. That 3-hit combo, really good. Trying to one-hand this is a little bit trickier. You can certainly do it, but if I'm using this weapon, I'm usually going to be two-handing it. But like I said, once again, the beauty of this build is you can really run whatever you want. Both this and the strength build, I like to run a scraping spear on, just so if somebody is turtling up behind a great shield, I can just poke them and slowly destroy all of their durability, but otherwise I'm not going to use that. And then with this being the quality build, we're also going to run the dark silver shield here. This is just 100 physical and magical defense, so since our vitality isn't as high, this just gives us a little bit more survivability, especially if we go up against a magic build, kind of allowing us to stick in the fray a little bit longer. Gear, run whatever you'd like here. I really liked the knight look. This is basically identical in look to the blue knight armor as well, so even if you don't have the deluxe, you could just run the blue knight. But I run the Ring of Great Strength here, and then for invasions, because I have less health, I'm usually going to be running the Cling Ring, but you can really go with whatever. You could go Cling Ring, you could go the Stamina Ring or the Foes Ring if you have either of those. You know, probably the biggest thing I want you to take away from a quality build is you don't necessarily have to use the Claymore or the Knight Sword or the Meat Cleaver. These are just a couple of potential weapons. You could honestly go into combat with 5 to 10 different weapons for a quality build and just swap to whatever it is that you need for that particular fight, and you will do fine with it. Oh, there's another red here too! Boom! And boom! There's one. Did he get the host? Oh no, Jenny LOL still alive? No, you're not, bitch! You're not alive anymore! Oh god, no, he got the roll trick. Now you're dead. Yes! Yes! Is this guy inching up to... What are you doing? Back away. Is this, am I gonna be ganked? I think, I don't know if they want to gank or not. What are they doing here? What is this? What is this? Ow, the fuck? Stop it. Out of here. They're trying to be a gang squad. Get the fuck out of here. Not today, you cheesy little bitches. Okay, I don't know if this is supposed to be a fight club. I don't know what the fuck he's trying to do. Is he trying to banish me? Ooh, that hurts. No, 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 son. Go on, back up and heal. Makes it easier for me to do this. He's trying to resummon his friend. he's trying to resummon his friend. No, 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 no. It doesn't work like that. Ooh, shit, he hurts. God damn, Northern Regalia should not be a thing. Got your ass! You ain't keeping your fucking gank going. Gotta hit him with it. Gotta hit him with it. Killing a gank feels good. So that's going to wrap things up for this one. For those curious, I also will have 2 more videos coming, one for the magic build and one for the faith build. Those are going to be getting dedicated videos since there's a little bit more that goes into them with what spells you should pick and specific synergies within the build. But I'll have those coming a little bit later in the week. Other than that, thanks for tuning in. Always appreciate the support on this stuff. Hopefully it helps a couple of y'all out, and I'll catch you guys next time.